A prompt can be copied in 10 seconds. You can see one on Instagram, save it from a newsletter, buy a collection, or ask AI to write 10 more prompts just like it. But a useful workflow takes more thought. It has to account for what happens before you open the AI tool, what the AI is supposed to help with, what it should not decide, and what you will do after it gives you a response. That is what I want to talk about today, because prompt collections are everywhere. Some of them are genuinely helpful, but collecting prompts can start to feel like collecting planners. You keep finding one that looks like it will finally organize your life, while the real issue is that you still do not have a process you trust when life gets crowded. So today, I want to explain why your workflow is more valuable than your prompt, using the EOD system as an example. Imagine it is Thursday evening. You need to answer a message from work. You remember that an appointment still has not been scheduled. There is something you need to decide for your business. Dinner is still a question. And underneath all of that, you are worried that you have forgotten something important. You open the folder where you saved all those helpful prompts. There is a weekly planning prompt, a priority prompt, a meal planning prompt, a business strategy prompt, and one that promises to clear your mind in 5 minutes. Which one do you use first? That moment reveals the limitation of a prompt collection. Every prompt assumes you already understand the problem well enough to choose the right tool. But mental load rarely arrives as one clean problem. It arrives as tasks, decisions, concerns, ideas, expectations, reminders, and unfinished conversations sitting in the same mental space. If you ask AI to organize everything, it may give you a beautiful list without helping you understand what kind of load you are actually carrying. And a beautiful list can still be another list you have to manage. The EOD system moves through 3 stages: externalize, organize, and design. Those words matter, but the sequence matters even more. Each stage asks you to do a different kind of thinking. Externalize means getting the load out of your head before trying to clean it up. This is not the moment to sound organized. You may write, I need to email the client. I am tired of messages coming in at night. I do not want them to think I am ignoring them. I need the invoice. I forgot to update the project. That is messy, but it is useful. You have captured more than a task. You have captured the pressure surrounding the task. If you jump straight to a productivity prompt, AI may say, reply to the client tonight. It solved the visible task. It did not help with the recurring pressure. Next comes organize. Now you separate what you wrote into different types of load. Email the client is a task. They may think I am ignoring them is a concern, and possibly an assumption. Messages keep reaching me after I am supposed to be off. Points toward a boundary or a process problem. AI can be very helpful here. It can reflect back what you wrote, sort the pieces, and point out a pattern you may want to examine. But you still review its response. You decide whether that label is accurate. You decide whether its interpretation fits the real relationship and context. Then you move to design. Design asks, what would change how I carry this next time? Maybe the answer is sending the email. Sometimes a task just needs to be completed. But maybe the better design is setting clear response hours, placing them in your client welcome information, and creating one saved message you can use when something arrives outside those hours. The immediate task gets handled, and the recurring mental load gets a system. That is a different level of value. I am not telling you to throw away every prompt you have saved. A strong prompt can save time. It can provide structure. It can help you ask for something more clearly than you might have asked on your own. But the words in the prompt are the easiest layer for someone else to reproduce. The deeper value comes from the decisions behind those words. Why are we asking this question first? What information should the AI reflect instead of interpret? When should it sort? When should it suggest options? Where should it stop and return the decision to the woman using it? That is workflow design. A thoughtful AI tool does not simply tell the model to produce an answer. It creates movement from one kind of thinking to the next while keeping human judgment in the process. This matters because two women can bring the same kind of problem to AI and need two completely different responses. One woman may need a reminder on her calendar. Another may need to ask someone to share the responsibility. Another may realize she has been following a rule that no longer fits her life. The AI can offer those as possibilities. It cannot decide which response respects her values, obligations, relationships, energy, or capacity. That part is personal. Your judgment is not slowing the technology down. Your judgment is what makes the technology useful in your real life. I want you to try this with one open loop, not your whole life. Choose one thing that keeps circling back into your mind. First, externalize it. Write what happened, what you keep remembering, what feels unclear, what you are worried about, and what you think you may need to do. Then organize it. Ask yourself, what is the task? What is the decision? What is the concern? Is there an assumption mixed in? Is any part of this shared, unclear, or not mine to carry? Finally, design one response. Do you need an action, a rule, a boundary, a routine, a conversation, or support? You can use AI during this process. Let it reflect, sort, and surface a few options. Do not hand over the final interpretation. Read what it gives you and decide what fits. If you paste personal writing into an AI tool, remove names or identifying details when needed, and only share what you feel comfortable entering. The future is not going to belong to the person with the longest list of prompts. Prompts will continue to be copied, adapted, and generated faster. The lasting value will be in knowing how to move a human being from information to clarity, and from clarity to a next step she can actually use. That is what externalize, organize, and design are meant to do. The transformation is not hidden inside one magical command. It happens through the process, with you still present, still evaluating, and still choosing. Before you go, think about this. Where have you been collecting prompts when what you really need is a repeatable way to handle the problem? I'm Tamberly, a certified AI life coach and wellness systems designer, and this is Digital Wellness Journal, where we use AI journaling and practical systems to reduce the mental load of life, work, and the thing you are building. If you want guided support using the EOD system, you can explore the Dump and Design GPT Plus mini course at the link in the description. Thanks for watching. If you're designing a life less loaded, subscribe and join the community. Drop a comment below. I read every single one. See you next time.